How's everybody?
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
I thought you might say highlight. No, Miller highlight. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I made a real big difference.
Promotion. Yeah, but it was a principle thing.
On their
It was a principle thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the overall yeah. Miller did not.
Everybody's racing in the last minute. We're gonna be the only ones here.
I'm sure they probably did. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Matt.
How are you?
It can be
How's your
very
summer been?
entertaining.
How's my what?
Summer been.
Great. Not enough time.
Never is.
No, all the projects in the world. No time to get them all done.
Pretty soon it's gonna be July 4th.
You know, that's only like 3 weeks away, right?
I know. Yeah, just the stuff.
Told you. Get away with it.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
This might consider.
It's either there or it's on your anchor and then right now.
Yeah. 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 Is that the last one?
No, I don't. Actually, that's his last one.
Bob?
It's just crazy to think that it's I kind of feel like that.
All right, I'd like to call the June 8th, 2026 Howell Township Board, regular board meeting to order. Do we have a roll call?
Rob Spalding.
Here.
Sue Doss.
Here.
Jonathan Hohenstein.
Here.
Matt Combs.
Here.
Tim Bowl.
Here.
Jody Bolton.
Here.
Bob Wilson.
Here.
All right, seeing here. Let's stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call to the board. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
There's a motion by Hohenstein, support by Goss, to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Next item, approval of the minutes. First one, we have 2 minutes to approve. First one is regular board meeting, May 11th, 2026.
I'll make the motion to approve the board meeting minutes of May 11th.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Is there any discussion or additions or edits in the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, those pass. Next set of minutes is the 2026, 2027 budget meeting on that same day, May 11th, 2026.
Move to accept the budget meeting minutes for May 11th as presented. Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Call to the public. We have 2 calls to the publics. This is the first call to the public. If you wish to address us, please come up, state your name, and talk away.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Smith. I live at 3774 Mason Road. I just want to, as a local neighbor, it sits in my backyard. I would hope that you approve the PC's recommendation for Heritage Squares PUD Phase 2 and 3. Looks pretty nice out there, and I'm hoping that they maybe want to go into Phase 4 and get rid of maybe the multifamily later in the future, but that's just on a side point. The other thing I wanted to bring to everybody's attention is the Land Division Act that I know is on the agenda. It's going to put a lot of responsibility on Brent and his departments going forward, and I think it should be something that's very carefully considered through the PC because it's going to dramatically impact the splitting and division of the township as well as the entire state. The only thing I would recommend is that we keep our 1 acre minimals and that we pay attention carefully the timeline that's involved in this to get this done. Otherwise, we're not going to be very happy with perhaps the outcome that the state is going to dwell upon our municipality. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Anyone else wishes to address the board? All right, seeing none, we will go on to unfinished business. We don't have any items. Is there anything anyone wants to bring up? Unfinished business? Seeing none, we'll move to our new business. Is this driving you guys crazy? Is that? Heritage Square, MI Homes, Phase 2 and Phase 3 final PUD approval. So, Jonathan, do you want to?
So, if you'll remember, Heritage Square is the whole development on the 90+ acres down at Mason and Burkhart. The PUD process set in place what the development will look like. MI Homes and the owner of the property broke it into 4 parcels, if memory serves. 3 single-family phases and then a multifamily phase. They have, MI Homes has started on phase 1 of the single-family, and now they're looking at phase 2 and really breaking that into 2 separate phases, which is why it's phase 2 and 3 on their application, even though it's really parcel number 2 for phase 2. But because of breaking it into phases the way they did, they have to come back to the Planning Commission and to the Township Board for final approval of the PUD. So they've already been to the PC, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about that, but they've already been to the PC, and the minutes are in there, and they approved. There was a couple things they had to fix, but they have submitted the updates to those conditions.
Okay, that was in our planner letter.
Yep.
From March 19th.
Well, and the updated in May, so they issued another letter in May highlighting the May 26th. It highlighted some deficiencies, but then, you know, they did submit the updated plans that do take care of the deficiencies. It was, I think, 1 tree and 1 shrub or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, do we want to hear from the applicant? I know he is here. Would you like to speak?
Good evening. David Straub with MI Homes, 40950 Woodward Avenue, Bloomfield Hills. Super excited to be here. You know, when I came before you, I think back in 2023, in 2024, it was really just a vision, right? Recasting something that I think came before the township maybe not many times, but for maybe close to 2 decades. And we're super excited that you know, we can share with you tonight that we've grand opened our model home in the first phase. We are thankful that the general public is accepting our community, and we are off to a very strong start with sales, and should be moving in our first residence later this month. What we have before you tonight is, as Mr. Hohenstein shared, is our phase 2 and phase 3 addition to what's already been started out there. The first phase had 48 home sites. Phases 2 and 3 comprise 63 additional home sites. Our plan, if Mother Nature holds up, is to have that development done and the community to be paved before the snowfall this year. Part of these improvements will include a road connection from the detached single family section out to Mason Road. That was a requirement of the original approvals. That's required with our phase 2 improvements, and that road will need to be finished before, I believe it's before building permits are issued for phase 2. So that is part of the plan as well. And we are excited to get out there and break ground in the next phase and move this forward. So I'm here to answer any questions, concerns you may have. Thank you.
Anybody have questions? No questions, Tim?
I've already said my piece.
Okay. You know this is a PUD, right?
Absolutely, yes. One thing well, it's not a question for him, but I'll mention it during discussions.
Okay. I think we're done asking questions. Okay. Any discussion amongst the board?
Just, I had heard a rumor that originally when this was planned and we were talking about the traffic study in 96 and 59, interchange was gonna be done in 28, 29 by MDOT. That project has been pulled. It's no longer in their 5-year plan. So what we have is what we're gonna have for
is that it is multifamily and it's as it's drawn. If somebody doesn't want to build it as it's drawn, then they have to submit to change the PUD.
Okay.
And that's even if it stays as multifamily. But MI Homes, to my knowledge, isn't doing the multifamily, right?
That's correct. Yeah, actually, we'll come before you one more time. There's going to be one additional to be in 2028 when we'll be in front of you, because after we put this next phase on the ground, we'll have probably 80 finished home sites out there that we'll need to work through.
So phase 4 is detached homes, that's the plan for that, not?
Yeah, and then the south section, so it would be west of the Chestnut single-story apartment homes. That south section of the PUD is owned by a separate party. The original PUD did have that designated as a multifamily section. That was part of the part of the plan and part of the PUD. And I frankly don't know what that owner's plans are as far as timing goes, so I can't speak for them.
It's all part of the same PUD, correct?
It was all done at the same time.
However, that portion you talked to is a senior complex of 90 homes, and then multifamily, I think of 263 is the south portion that you're not part of, right?
I believe, yeah.
So
I believe that's
that
right.
portion is advertised for sale right now. So, I don't, by the owner.
Okay.
One time Steve's website.
So unless is there more
No,
discussion?
it appears that all the conditions have been met.
I had one question, sorry. On the note from Spicer, they had listed that they recommended review and approval by the township planner, obviously fire marshal, drain commissioner, Livingston County Road Commission, and MHOG. And I saw all of the reports except for MHOG. Am I understanding that MHOG didn't have anything to?
So, and maybe this is David, where you can correct me if I'm wrong. When you guys did, because Mega is your engineer, and when they submitted the entire utility plan as part of phase 1. Is that correct?
We did.
Yeah.
So the engineering plans for the entire single-family detached section were submitted last year, reviewed and approved by the requisite agencies.
Okay.
Our water and sewer permits that have been issued for the site, State of Michigan water and sewer permits, and wetland permits as well, were all approved for the development as a whole.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
same
saw all
with-
of the other ones,
yeah.
I just didn't see MHOG, so.
So it's same with like the drain commission, right? They reviewed everything. That's what he was saying is phase 2 has all of the other stormwater for the rest of the development, because phase 1 kind of stood on its own for
Okay.
stormwater, and then all the other phases are in your phase 2.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So there, we have a very large detention basin that will be installed on the west side of the site, and that will be detention for all of the single-family and all or a portion of the multifamily. I'm not, until that is finally designed and the storm detention volume is determined. We have capacity in the new basin that will go in, but there may need to be more capacity depending on how that design goes and what the requirements are at the time that they choose to get their final site plan on that multifamily section.
So I would make a motion to accept phases 2 and 3 for Heritage Square with the plans dated May 26, 2026, as it meets the conditions set out in Article 27 of the ordinance and all conditions set out by the Township Planning Commission.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. Final approval. Is there any discussion? Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next item is, there's quite a bit of stuff in our packet, is the Land Division Act updates and discussions. I think what we want to do is kind of get some direction for Jonathan and Brent of moving forward, so hopefully we can have a good discussion about this and then also determine a path forward for us. Does that sound good? So, do you get, one of you guys want to kind of?
Yeah, I'll try to kick this off. So PA 58 was legislation that was passed before Christmas last year in 2025. This amended our current Land Division Act from 1997. And what that Land Division Act does is give the owner the right to divide their land. So that's what we're talking about here, not PUDs, not site plans. It's division by right. And these changes will happen in March of 27. Now, March of 26 is when it actually kicked off, meaning if a local municipality looked at this and said they want to adopt these right away, they have the ability to do that, right? The clock is ticking. But for us that haven't addressed this yet, we have until March of 27 before this really happens to us. Okay, if we sit on our hands and do nothing, this is going to go into place and it will replace what we currently have. So the big changes are, traditionally since 97, you were able to divide the first 10 acres 4 times. And 10 acres is just kind of a round number. It actually goes all the way up to 19.9 acres. So if you have that many, from 0 to 19.9, you can divide it 4 times. This legislation changes that 4 to 10. But where most people lose it is if your property has already been divided since 97, you don't fall into this. You're already in the redivision right. So this still keeps track of the parent parcel or the parent tract, like what was there in March of 1997. Okay? It doesn't just mean everybody gets to divide their property now, unless the local municipality adopts that subsection 6. If you do that, then basically it gets rid of the whole parent parcel, parent tract conversation, and you can actually go above the 10 splits if you want. So that's why they say this new legislation is actually a floor, not a ceiling. They're taking the 10 and local can go above that. That control now belongs here. You don't have to adopt that, right? You can vary from that. You can just assume what is being handed down and keep the parent tract, parent parcel, all of that together. The other part, so that is on the legal or the law side of it. We also have our ordinances that dictate what can be split too, right? Based on the zoning. So we have, in AR zoning, you have a 1 acre minimum, whereas in SFR, MFR, you have 10,000 square feet or a 1/4 acre minimum. So those are things that can be updated as well, and probably should be if changes to what's coming down, if the township wants to go further than what is going to be law in March of 2027. Does any of that make sense? Clear as mud?
Brent,
So there's scenarios we can go down. Go ahead.
just one question. The 10,000 square foot minimum in SFR, that assumes that there's water and sewer ready to serve.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Because if there's not
So-
water and sewer ready to serve, that's not the floor.
Right.
Okay.
It's an acre.
In SFR.
It's gotta fit, right, it still has to fit our local zoning ordinances, right? That still dictates what can actually be split. So if we're going to make changes to our 59A, the land division ordinance, we want to make sure that those zoning ordinances mirror match what we're doing with the land division part of it. So I guess my question is kind of, where do you guys want to go from here? We have, if you back it up, we've got basically 9 meetings until this happens to us. So would it be beneficial for me to put together flow charts and you see, you know, at the end of what this looks like? I guess I'm looking for suggestions.
So Brent, does this new PA, does it supersede our ordinances? I don't believe it does it?
It doesn't, it will replace 59A. We're gonna have to update the language because to conform with the state law.
But it won't change our 1 acre minimums that we
No.
currently have?
No, that's still local control.
Okay.
Yep, our neighbors around us have all different, township I live in, they have 3/4 acre minimum.
Do you see situations where it will affect, I mean, so obviously it's taking away the ceiling that we used to have, right? So you could only subdivide 10 acres into, or up to
4
20
now,
acres
right, it's
4
adding
times.
6 to all of those categories, but when I say that's the floor, the act now gives the power to the local, they can go above that. So say you wanted to be able to divide 10 acres 15 ways, you just put it in an ordinance and you're allowed to do that now.
And that's what we need to decide here.
Right.
I
But
think everyone knows my answer.
But if we don't decide anything, it
If you don't
stays.
decide anything, it's going to happen to us, right? So I'm gonna have to rewrite 59A to match the law.
So what would you have to change in our current ordinances? Do you?
So,
I mean,
well,
just-
it's got, at first, I mean, the simple thing is gotta reference it, right? Ours doesn't.
But it's not gonna change our 10,000 square feet, I mean,
No,
unless we choose to.
Right, and those are zoning ordinances, those
Yeah.
are listed in the individual zonings. So other things to think about is access points too, like if you wanna increase the amount of splits, we really gotta look at what we have as far as access. So right now, we allow 2 parcels off a traditional driveway. If you go to a 3rd parcel off that driveway, it has to be hard surfaced, and we allow up to 4. Once you go beyond 4, now you're talking about a road, not a driveway. So where I get a little bit nervous is, say someone has an 8 acre parcel and it's in SFR, right? They're allowed 10,000 square foot lots. If there's water and sewer there, they can do it 10 times and there's no site plan, or I have to divide that and can't worry about where the water runoff, or I don't want to be creating subdivisions as your assessor, right? I don't, you know, those type of neighborhoods need all the engineering and all of that.
Are we also
That go-
creating like a road maintenance issue as well, where all these parcels have to collectively maintain their?
They certainly could, right? It just depends on how the access is geographically, but.
I mean, theoretically, okay, I see, your concern is someone takes an 80 acre parcel and splits it to the max, and you have 10,000 square foot lots, but you have no engineering, no infrastructure, no drain commission, no, like, we just split it and create a bunch of parcels.
Right, and they sell them off, and you've got 8 different builders in there doing what, you know.
But they that, I'm just trying to think about how feasible that actually is, because you're right, you have, in order to do something like that, you have to have road access. Like,
Well, I mean, our ordinance already addresses private roads, so I think, like, as it is now, if that happened, they would have to put in a private road and have to have the maintenance agreement. I think the thing that I'm concerned about, what you just said, is stormwater. If they're, like, we just heard, he has to put in David from MI Homes had to put in a huge detention basin, and that was for 40-some homes for phase 1. So if you put 80 homes in, but we're not making them do anything, cause it's by right, it's not through the planning commission.
Well, we as a township could formulate an ordinance to make that a requirement, correct?
If I go back to even the training session we had, right, we still have. Are you saying that would supersede some of that supersedes a site plan?
Yeah, because they're allowed that many divisions by right now. They don't have to go through site plan or do a PUD. They don't need other permission. They're allowed to split that.
So there doesn't have to be like a section designated to like a retention area, is that a concern?
Yeah, I don't want neighbors fighting over which way the water should run. Right, I mean, cause
Right.
well, selfishly, I guess that's not really my problem, and that becomes zoning, or, right, I make parcels. That's all I'm in the business of doing. Right, so, but I'm trying to put a little forethought into this.
Yeah,
and
no,
just say-
I think it's good. I'm just like, I think we have to have some sort of say in what a site plan looks like, right? Like, we have to have that say. Roads, stormwater runoff, engineering, right, all that stuff needs to have, that's the reason for a site plan, right?
Mhm.
So to arbitrarily split something, I suppose is technically possible, but I wonder about the practicality of it. Nevertheless, in my opinion, we need to make sure that the planning commission has say in a site, in something that could become a site plan. You're right, Brent, you, as assessor, you shouldn't be creating subdivisions. 100% agree with you.
And generally, those subdivisions would come in under site plan condos or something where that requires a site plan.
Right, because I mean, if you look at MI Homes, forget that it's a PUD, they can't get that many parcels with the Land Division Act. So that's why they come before the Planning Commission for all
So
that
now we'd
stuff.
be just using 10 acres as an example, because it's convenient, you could build 10 houses on 10 acres by right.
By right.
As
yeah.
long
Well,
as you have the
you could
access.
make 10 lots. The way I think I read the law, the PA 58 is, it doesn't mean they have to be buildable.
No, and that's the other thing, and it's all what I've always done. I don't want to make parcels that don't have value. I always encourage them to get a perk test.
Right.
Make sure it is buildable, because you're gonna end up with a headache if you think you're gonna sell it to somebody that, that's not gonna want that.
So we're gonna need some tools to regulate it, right?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm here tonight. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you can tell me to buzz off and you guys will figure it out, or you can.
We wouldn't tell you that.
I think the hard thing for me is like, I feel like the more I read, the less I know. I read the thing that you included in there from MSU, and it was really good, but it's just like, I don't know, I feel like there's so many possibilities, there's so many things to consider. I don't want to tell you to go do a thing, and then, like you were saying, I'm gonna plot out where this goes, and, and then find out I don't like any of it, or I don't, I don't
Right.
know, I don't want to make more work for you.
Is there some additional training on this particular topic that we can attend? So
So
that we can better understand which route to go?
Yeah, I mean, you
Well, there's
attended
the
two,
webinar,
right?
yeah, I can forward the link to that, cause yeah, I have sat through 2 webinars with this.
Because I read through the slides and it seems like these are probably talking points and that there's some details that I wasn't fully grasping just from looking at the slides.
Yeah,
This is still relatively new, so I
It
imagine it's
is.
gonna be fine-tuned as by other municipalities.
it is,
as we
and
move
maybe
along.
someone will invent the wheel for us and we can kinda jump on.
Well, here, I mean, I guess I would be interested to hear like what other communities are doing, particularly those that, their community, is similar to ours. And the type of growth and structure and makeup that it has. So I don't know if you experienced any of that feedback at all in the webinars, Brent, or you know of any other assessors in the area, but like, what are other communities doing, number one? And maybe Fahey Schultz has something, right? And then the other thing I noticed is in this MSU extension thing is it says, if minimum parcel size is 20 acres, added density under the new section is not likely to realize many additional parcels. But if minimum parcel size is small, added density is more likely to be realized.
Yeah, so if we
Yeah.
had a 5 acre minimum parcel size, yeah, not much of this would apply, right? I mean, a 10 acre parcel can be divided in half. It doesn't, it's still gotta fit the local ordinance, right? Just because by right they can divide it 10 times. If they have a 7 acre parcel, they can't get 7 divisions here if it's AR, right? They can get 7, as long as it was a parent parcel,
So,
because you,
So
right,
the
you
land, this act cannot if we make an ordinance, say we have minimum 2.5 acre parcels.
Yeah,
this-
you're
this
really-
this won't supersede it.
right, you're really putting a pin in there.
what would be the minimum acreage size we need to have in order to ensure that we have a say in a site plan?
Say in a site plan.
Like, where you can't go create a subdivision.
Well, 2.5 acre, he already figured that out.
Is it 2.5 acres?
Yes, he did.
I think if we had an ordinance, we've talked about going into our master plan and changing maybe single family and making the minimum lot size a little bit larger,
Mm-hmm.
especially without water and sewer or ag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then if the state comes in and says they're allowed up to 10 lots per 10 acre parcel, but our ordinance says our minimum is 2.5, our ordinance supersedes what the state. So this is voluntarily from the state, because the state used to limit
Yeah,
the divisions, and I think that's what we're kind of missing here. How many times did people come in and want to subdivide their property that you said, no, the state doesn't allow that?
oh, a lot.
Is it a lot?
Yeah, because a lot of don't realize what they're allowed.
And
to
the
do.
state's just basically easing up on that, taking that away.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna have to decide on how we wanna regulate it, because we can't rely on the state.
More or less, yeah. Yeah, the state is giving you the power to go either way. You just have to write your local ordinances how you want them.
And that's what you need to.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
I
I'm
like
gonna
your,
get the
you,
59A
do you wanna go through
right,
your
but-
scenarios and maybe we can narrow it down to which one we need to work on?
So,
Can I just ask an assessor question? Parent parcel, how long does that stay? If you have a piece of land and you split it off, you always have a parent parcel, correct?
no, the parent parcel talks about what was there in March of 1997, because that's when the land division basically started over. It was what was there, or what was under common ownership. If you had multiple parcels, like the Bachmans out at Lake Serene, all of those parcels were owned by the same family, right? So that's why, I don't know if you've seen the listings, but they've got a lot of divisions out there because they're allowed them. So that's what this goes back to. That subsection 6 can erase that and say, hey, you can start over if you want. Make as many parcels as you desire.
So if you're saying that if I bought a 10-acre parcel that was newly split last year, if you took that parent portion away, then I would be allowed the 10 splits, the 10 new parcels.
If it was already split, if it's been split since 97, you're out of it unless we adopt subsection 6.
Right, to
Yeah,
remove
you
that
don't-
parent parcel requirement.
And I know I'm gonna answer that question over and over and over again, because people are gonna assume, oh no, there's new legislation now, I can come in and divide my property. That's where I'm gonna have to go back through the chain of title.
But we have to adopt as a township subsection 6 for that to happen.
For it to be wiped away,
Right.
yeah,
And I think that's, as a board, we need to decide if we wanna do that.
you do.
That's
But
one
you
of the
do
questions
that,
you need to
you
know.
definitely open it up. Now every 10 acre parcel is gonna be able to be
Sure.
split.
Right?
Yep. That's the differentiation. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that, because that wasn't easily gleaned from these presentations.
Well, we're not saying that doing anything like that would restrict the development opportunities if someone wanted to do it, right? Because they would just have to go through the process of purchasing the property, go through, ensure that there's, let's say, for example, water and sewer, and go through a site plan, right? Like
Yeah, but don't, right, no, you're talking about a developer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
not,
like-
you're not talking about Joe homeowner.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference, right? Okay.
But we could have, as it stands right now, somebody could buy 10 acres and do 4 splits on it. And
That's the way.
Each one of those
correct.
has to have well and a septic and access. What it would be, under this new act, you could do it 10 splits, but you still have to address the water and sewer, or water and septic, as well as access. It wouldn't change any of that, right?
Right, yeah.
Unless we change things.
I care about, can it be split that many times, and do you have access? The well and septic, yes, I tell them, you should really get a perk test, like make sure this is a buildable lot, but that's not a condition of it doesn't say that in our land division ordinance, and the state is telling us we don't need to do that either.
So it would be up to me if I wanted to split my 10 acres. It's up to me to know that it's actually buildable or not. That's not something you're going to review when I submit my application.
Right. Yeah, so our first property my wife and I bought, we didn't even think about a well. They drilled 6 times, and they kept hitting gas. We bought a lot in Livingston County not thinking we'd ever have to worry about water. That's a realistic thing, and same thing with septic draining. I mean,
So the same amount of due diligence, if these are home sites, is gonna have to be done as it is now.
yeah, I would tell anybody that, yeah.
Do we need to review the fees? I assume this is gonna suck up more of your time. I'm assuming that you're gonna get a whole bunch of calls, but that each one's gonna take more time, each application might take more time. I wanna make sure that if you feel that that's true, that we also review our fee schedule to make sure we're capturing a fair amount for the time that you spend on it.
Yeah, that is, unless you guys adopt subsection 6, and then it's a clean slate, right, then I don't really need to, but.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, it's gonna take more work. Most of them I'm gonna have to call back, I can't just answer now, but.
Because it was talking about the chain of title, if we don't adopt subsection 6. Is this where me coming to you with the application have to prove that it's a parent parcel, or is this something that I submit it and you go look to see
I
if
will go
it's-
verify,
Okay.
yes, and I will verify if the redivision rights came with, right? And
Okay.
a lot of times they don't. It's on the title work.
Okay.
So, Brett, what limitations, if we didn't do subsection 6, if a parcel is not a parent parcel, like a 10-acre parcel, that's not a parent parcel?
So now
What
it
restrictions are on that?
depends, so say if that was split back in 2000, you'd have, every 10 years you gain a split if it's 10 acres, right? So you could possibly redivide that twice.
Okay.
You get redivision rights, but that all stays the same, that whole parent parcel, parent tract conversation, they didn't change that. They basically gave the option to do away with it.
But if you're a parent parcel, this is gonna increase this.
Yes, you go from 4 to 10.
So what you're saying is if we adopt subsection 6, that I take my 10 acres and I split it into 10 pieces, but the minimum is smaller than an acre, I could then in a couple years go and split each one of those again?
If it fits the local ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, okay. In my review, what I got hung up on is that we have a 1 acre minimum. And if we're gonna keep the 1 acre minimum, then I don't know that it's worth going through. I mean, we have to update stuff, the land division ordinance that we have. I don't know if it's worth doing the rest of it because it really doesn't change anything. We already have a 1 acre minimum. This is essentially what this is. As a minimum, it could be bigger depending on how much property the person has that they're trying to split. So I guess my question is, does the board have interest in, because I believe it'd be in the master plan that we'd have to crack open to say, we don't want the 1 acre minimum anymore. And then the question is, where don't we want the 1 acre minimum? Where does it make sense to maybe not have a 1 acre minimum? I guess my question is the board interested in doing that, or are we interested in keeping the 1 acre minimum?
My thought is, at the minimum, I wanna keep a 1 acre minimum. I think there may be areas we need to increase that, depending on, looking at the future land use map and the master plan. I think we're gonna have to crack open the master plan at least partially somewhere. We've had the discussion, we're gonna have a discussion at the planning commission level about reopening portions of the master plan. We haven't had them yet. I know I discussed that last time. My thought with this is just my thought, is that we do the minimum that we need to get by for now, with keeping the points that Brent has talked about. I'm not interested in adopting section 6. Yeah. I'm not interested in starting early. That will give us a little more time to see what develops as things move on. And then obviously we're gonna have to change some things, but maybe we can touch on them at the same time if we decide to go into the master plan at all.
Do you think that you would be done? Because my concern, I know we talked about this earlier, my concern is this has a due date.
Sure.
And so if you are interested in doing these things, then this maybe has to, jump in front of some other stuff to get done first, because we do have that March date where this happens, whether we want it to or not.
So just to clarify, Brent, what happens March 27 if we do absolutely nothing?
So we adopt all the changes. It goes from 4 to 10, and you keep the parent parcel part. So that is actually the least. Be careful. Disruptive, yeah, or the least amount of divisions that can come out of this then.
If we just
because
hold the course.
Right, because you're not touching that subsection 6.
And I think that gives us some time. I mean, obviously March 27th is going to be here before we know it. But I think we're obviously going to have to zero in on some changes. I don't know exactly what they are. I don't know if anyone really knows, right?
Right. So I guess what I'm hearing is, what I would like to do is just take our ordinance and update it with what I've heard tonight. At least get that part, and then maybe we can get that to the attorney. So then we're ready in March, because a lot goes on in March in the assessing cycle, and I can't have this just sitting there. So I want to do that part.
He means the land division ordinance.
No, I'm not. Yeah, none of the zoning ordinances. It's a 59A ordinance. Get that updated with what's going to happen to us.
And that would be separate from any master plan
changes.
Yeah, I would agree. I would not want to wipe this and start with a clean slate with every single parcel. It would be
It would, in one way, it'd be a lot easier. It's just come on in and split your property, basically. First come, first serve. I'm not afraid of following a parent parcel track and all. I've been doing that since I've been here, so that's all fine for me. I've kept good records, so. I think it's those units or municipalities that don't, it's a way out.
And we could still, like in AR zoning, do a 2-acre minimum.
Yeah, you can adjust, so what I'm trying to do is align ourselves with the state, and then you guys can work on the zoning however you wanna do it, because then I'm gonna filter it down to here, I can say, yes, now it's 10, but based on our zoning ordinances, you can't get 10, maybe you can only get 5, or, you know, you still have to go through that.
So I did look, it does mention a 1 acre in size, as part of our current land division ordinance, so maybe if you work on this, just work on the wording so you don't call out the actual size, because if it ends up getting larger, then, and maybe you just reference like a, I don't know, like minimum size or something.
Yeah. And I assume a 4-to-1 ratio, like I don't wanna change that.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I saw in here that I thought was interesting was they've got, in the MSU slides, they've got a zoning chart for the Charter Township of Fenton. And it looks like they're kind of tiered, with their single-family residential. They have like 6 different single-family residentials based on density. So they've got, you know, that low density, medium density, you know, so maybe that's a way to direct where this would go to with those parcel, you know, the minimums, is maybe adding another single-family residential to direct where those could go.
Okay.
I don't know, it's just a thought.
So, do you think we have enough discussion to have Brent?
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
Proceed
are
on-
there any of you that disagree with Tim's direction? I mean, he's the one that spoke up, I mean, you know, if someone wants to go to a 1/2 acre, like, I don't wanna get this all the way, and then there's 3 or 4 of you that don't agree, and then now we're in a gridlock.
So technically, our ordinance allows a 1/2 acre in certain circumstances, right? So I don't see it. I see your concerns with, you know, subdivisions being built without site plans now.
I agree.
Yeah,
So that needs to be addressed, right? I mean, but they still have to be buildable lots with roads and access and things like that. But our ordinance already allows 10,000 square foot lots if we have water and sewer and single family residential.
Right.
And our minimum lot size in AR is 1 acre. So, I mean, if you were taking 10 acres and dividing it according to the new law, our ordinance would still apply. It's no more restrictive than our ordinance, I guess, or lenient, I guess is a better way of putting it.
Except in single-family residential though, right? Where the lot sizes are 10,000 square feet, they could ask for additional splits then, right? More than just 10 acres.
Does that apply in that
well,
case?
so you just don't have to go through a site plan, you have 8-acre parcel, and you can divide it 10
Right.
ways.
And that's
the part
that's a
that scares
problem.
me.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And that's where I was going, what if we had two or 3 different tiers of single-family residential, and we control the minimum lot sizes to direct where those more dense splits would be allowed in areas where it's already, you know, got the water and sewer in place, in areas where the roads are paved, where we don't have the issues of it being overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to start getting your head around what we're gonna have to look at, but I'm sure there'll be other developments a month from now, 3 months from now.
Sorry, Jody, I'm just thinking about what you said.
Yeah.
Did you say that, I mean, minimum lot size of single-family residential with water and sewer is 10,000 square feet? Did you ask if that could be split again?
No, I was going, if we're now going to have even smaller or even denser splits allowed, do we want to maybe, instead of just having one single-family residential zoning with a minimum of 10,000 square feet, which would allow somebody to take 10 acres and split it into 10, would we like to have a couple of different tiers of single-family residential so that we're making sure that those parcels that can be split down because of the 10,000 are directed to areas where we already have the infrastructure in place. And then you could have like a single family residential that is maybe low density, and maybe you've got medium density, low density instead of just SFR. And those ones we would, you know, classify the parcels that, you know, could be split the way that they are right now. They could be split down to 10,000 square feet, but you could make that more larger lot sizes so it couldn't be split so low.
But doesn't the presence or the absence of water and sewer prevent that split?
I don't know. Right now
It
it
does.
does. Okay.
Yeah.
Single-family residential without water and sewer is an acre.
Okay. So then maybe that's a moot point.
What's the
But you
chance?
still would have a concern if someone wanted to put 10 houses in, I mean, without a site plan, right?
Yeah.
On a 10-acre parcel.
Yeah,
That's I think, if water and sewer is the deciding factor of a 10,000 square foot lot, that I think is gonna be, in my opinion, the largest challenge, because that I think changes the concept of a driveway versus a private road. That can affect water runoff and storm, like, you know, 10 homes on a 10-acre parcel, right? I think that the 10,000 square foot constraint seems to be, that's going to be a subdivision, and I think that situation, there would be a site plan for that, right? There would have to be a site plan for that.
And like that reserve on Thule and Bowen, that's gonna be a site condo, right?
yeah, so that doesn't
Which
apply
doesn't
here.
apply-
It's
okay, so
like
the-
Jonathan keeps saying, by right. If you have 10 acres, you can make 10 parcels, and you could make a mess if you don't have, you know.
Yeah, but yes, you could make a mess. I agree with you. If you had a 10-acre parcel, could you subdivide that down to 10,000 square foot lots?
If you have water and sewer.
If you have water and sewer, you could.
But
And we-
didn't Jonathan make a point about like if you had 10 acres and it could be split 10 ways and then in another 10 years it could be divided again? Do we know how many times or how small those can get?
So that's where he was
You'll have
talking
to
about.
meet the minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus there's the access. You have to address access with every single split.
Right.
So
Well,
there's
so
gonna be a limit.
here's an easy example. Take a rectangle that's along the road, right? You've got 5 lots, and you share a driveway with a lot right behind it, right? So now you've got 10 homes packed right in there. What happens, you know, with geography when the water starts running, and now neighbors are mad? Because they're gonna be, they're 1 acre lots, but it's gonna pool somewhere.
And I've learned that there is a lot of stormwater that is not county controlled. Maybe it was an old farmer's drain field, or maybe it was, you know, the ditch was on the side of the road, but like, you know, it cuts through somebody's yard. So there's a lot of stuff that's not controlled by the county. Maybe you can speak about this more.
No, higher density, you're gonna have inevitably more drainage issues. It's just science.
Why couldn't we change some of our single-family residential back to AR?
If it's already got water and sewer on it, I don't think you should, but well, that's the master plan, right?
Yeah, that's
one of the things that
rezoning.
would be discussed at that point.
Yeah.
Well, the
I mean,
AR
that's one way to get around a lot of things. I think there's way too much yellow in our map.
That doesn't change your your ability to split your lots. You know, sewer and water affects your ability to split your lot more, not
Well-
AR versus SFR.
Well, if you're allowed 10,000 square foot lot in single family and 2.5 in AR, I would think by changing them back to AR, we could make larger lots.
But it's sewer and water, so
Yeah.
that is the limiting factor, is sewer and water.
SFR has a limit of 1 acre unless you have sewer and water. I think Brent's example of flagpole lots backed up to road facing lots tied right up together, that's
Yeah,
That's our
easy-
biggest concern.
Right, usually when I get a split, the parcel's already sold, like they want it done yesterday. I can see this happening because there's a deal on the table. That's typically why property gets split, in my experience. So, I just don't wanna get into, the only way around that, I think, is Tim's example of increasing. Maybe what I can do is do an analysis of how many large parcels can be split like that, because I have done a lot of splitting in the 10 years I've been here.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can figure that out.
I mean,
Yeah,
it seems like it would be complicated to me as well.
Yes and A,
no.
it has parent parcel, yes or no on there, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can.
You're gonna overlay the parcels with what is water and sewer, right? And then figure out what can be split that way and what can't based on the parent parcel.
Well, any
split.
water and sewer parcels are not gonna be AR, and AR is my fear, is where you're gonna get out on a gravel road, a 10-acre parcel, and you're gonna slam 10 homes in there. That's
Or
the-
a large SFR parcel, not water and sewer.
yeah, we don't have a lot of
Essentially
that.
the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be no different.
It seems inherently concentration is gonna be higher here. And the higher that is, the more problems there are more issues that are potentially gonna
Yeah.
arise.
Yeah,
With stormwater, drainage,
yeah.
everything. So I think we would wanna try to address those the best that we could.
Well, yeah, I think maybe like put some mitigating controls in place so that even if that were to be the case, there's something that says that those things are managed, right?
Is anyone against moving the AR minimum up?
I wouldn't.
I don't think any of you are.
No, I'm not against it. I would like to see the analysis of like what the impact is
That's
of
what-
doing
yeah.
that, right? I think it would be good to know that.
The other thing I will say is that, our ability to do these things is tied to health and safety. So if your idea is to jump to a 10-acre minimum, we probably can't justify that.
No, because it becomes excess land and it becomes a landfill, to be honest with you. People have excess land, they just
How
park
is
stuff out
Cahata
there.
gonna deal with this?
Cahata?
With their 10-acre minimum lots?
I don't know. Well, I guess they really don't have to.
Okay.
If it doesn't supersede their ordinance, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, I think an analysis, Brent, on what parcels could be affected, what some options are, and then and maybe this is twofold, like what are other communities who are who are similar to us, what are they doing, and what our options are.
When you say similar, do you mean like our neighbors, or do you mean like there might be a township on the west side of the state that resembles us?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
I mean, quite frankly, it affects all the townships and all the municipalities in the state, so at that point in time, I have to imagine there's all this information on MSU extension and what Fahey Schultz put together. There has to be like some sort of collab or something that people are contributing to say, hey, this is what we're doing, or this is what we decided to do, or whatever. I don't know, but
Okay. I have a meeting on the 24th with the Livingston County assessors, and I'll reach out to
there you go.
my other contacts around.
You want to have Brent kind of work on this and we can talk about it next meeting?
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Did you get enough?
I know.
Did you get enough to go? I mean,
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
Jonathan, we need to be concerned about having this move forward.
Oh, yeah.
And these will have to go in front of the PC, correct?
The zoning parts,
The
if you're
zoning
gonna
parts.
change that, this is our general ordinance, which is the legal. We need legal to sign off on it, and then you
Okay.
guys actually adopt these.
But we need to be ready by March of next year. But are you concerned if Brent takes a month to
No, not at all.
come back and
I think sometimes this is beneficial as long as we realize that whatever Brent brings back, we're gonna have to start taking steps forward on, whatever that means. So that's
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we need any action on that, as long as Brent has.
But I think as long as we keep moving, we have time, right? We can be iterative with it, right?
Yeah, that's why I wanna do this now
Yeah.
or sooner.
It was
but-
a good idea, Brent.
Okay. All right. So moving on to item C on new business, human resources, staff pay discussions. There was we had an HR meeting on the 26th of May. It's in the packet and online and everything. There were, I think I want to kind of, there's three different things that we're talking about, so we can just kind of go through one at a time. There's also the four resolutions that are in the packet. I don't know where we want to put.
Those are already on the agenda as E. The resolutions.
Okay, we're gonna lump those in there.
That's where they are.
Okay.
It's AD.
Okay. Okay, so, human resource meeting, staff pay discussions, this is on the two positions and the responsibilities?
So it's on the a pay increase, and then we can kind of skip over the FOIA coordinator because that's actually next on the agenda. It ties into part 2 of the additional duties.
Okay. So we have staff pay, and E is the elected positions pay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So in regards to the staff positions pay discussion, it was the recommendation of the HR committee to do a cost of living increase of 2.8% to staff. Our new employee, Amanda Bonneville, would not be eligible for this. It was also discussed that Carol, our 20-year employee who is retiring in September, would not be eligible for the raise. My opinion is I think she should be included in that, just because she's leaving in 2 months or 3 months or whatever, 4 months or whatever.
I concur.
I think to single her out to not get a pay increase, especially since it's not like we're like some municipalities boost up people at the end of their career so their pension amount is higher. There's nothing like that. So I know I didn't think about it when we met, but
I'm only bringing it up because that was her request.
okay.
She requested that, otherwise I wouldn't have.
Well, I still feel like Carol should, if we adopt this, it should be for, Amanda's is a special circumstance, but I think everybody should get this. Whether you quit in a week or retire on September 10th. That's my opinion.
I think excluding her gives the wrong look. So,
That was her request. That's what she said, but I do agree. She should get it.
so if we all agree with it, we don't need to discuss it. We'll just,
And we all know
because
we all know
she is a
Carol.
20-year employee
Yeah,
who's leaving,
and
right?
we
I
know
mean,
Carol.
so, and there's no reason for her to be excluded for her last 2 months or.
Is she, I'm sorry, does she collect the social security?
I have no
Maybe
idea.
that 2.8 is gonna put her over the threshold.
I have no idea.
Some would say.
Not if
Well-
she's full retirement.
Well, that's what I'm asking, if she's
Yeah.
67 or whatever that is.
She's past that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I had her current rate, but we're actually just raising it 2.8%. It's gonna affect her social security probably minuscule, because that's a 35-year average, so, whether she's got 2.8% from here on till September to use in her calculations or not. So I think doesn't matter at all. So is there discussion on that? The recommendation was 2.8%. It sounds like we want to include Carol in that, and Amanda would be eligible for any subsequent COLA or staff increases in the future.
No discussion on the 2.8?
Bob, Matt, any comments?
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense to me.
And we have kind of budgeted for it last month.
Yeah,
in
that fits the adopted budget for 26, 27.
So,
I did have one question,
Yeah.
because the township does have a pretty big, robust benefits package. Is that factored into the pay too, at any point in the HR committee meetings?
we didn't discuss that.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with the 2.8 because it's cost of living and it's obviously things are going up.
But it does affect, you know, our pension is 15% of people's pay. So,
That's robust.
I would agree that is, but it's gonna be 2.8%, you know, that 15% is gonna be on a higher amount with a wage increase. So, and did we factor that into our budget as well? Okay, but that's a good point, Tim, that it's there.
Isn't 15% like way more than the average in the world, in America?
I would say yes.
Just to clarify, does anyone here know when that started or how that happened? Because I don't think we were, right? So
None of us were here.
none of us were.
Yeah. I did have access to some data that we had our office, and I think it's right here. That was put together. I asked for it specifically, and it went through each of the townships. And some don't. One, I found that there's a lot of variations between the townships, from population, SEVs, your pay. The pay that we have is it's hard to compare apples to apples. There were a couple townships that had retirement funding. I think ours was one of the most robust at the 15%. Genoa Township, 10% of wages paid by township. That's what they give to their employees. I'm just kind of going through this real quick.
Parks and Rec is 10%. I just don't
Do they?
understand. Yeah, I don't understand why Howell Township is 15%.
Heartland Township is 10%. Handy, no retirement accounts. Deerfield places 20% of employee wages into a retirement account. I'm sure this information is good, but I wouldn't kind of base everything on that,
So does any of that factor into the fact of wanting to provide a cost of living adjustment to the employees? In my opinion, no.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. It just,
Yeah,
the retirement coincides with the pay.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
you know,
Is it something we need to look into the future and maybe lower that? I think it's awful high. I don't think a majority of the people in the community like 15% going to township employees' retirement.
I think I would look at I would look at what the comparative pay is and understand whether or not the township is providing a benefit to their employees from a salary perspective or from a benefits perspective, and make that decision at that point in time. The question that I'm asking is do we all agree that the employees deserve a cost of living adjustment that coincides with Social Security Administration COLA?
Yes.
and that would be the question.
Are you guys looking for a motion from the board to do that? Move to accept Howell Township Human Resources Committee recommendation for 2026-2027 employee raise discussion. Social Security cost of living adjustment COLA for 2026 of 2.8%.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. Discussion, we don't need to include Carol because your
She is
motion
included.
covers.
Motion should apply for all employees who
employees.
have been employed by the township for more than 1 year.
Okay. Matt moved it, and Sue supported it. Is there any discussion or further questions from anybody on the board? Jody, Bob, you guys have anything to?
I'm good with the COLA.
Okay.
I'm just not good with
Okay.
15% retirement.
And that I'm relatively new, so I don't know how we would address that.
Maybe that needs to be another topic at another meeting.
We could do that.
I think I agree with Matt. You'd have to do a bit of a deeper dive to make sure that you understand the full spectrum of what employees are getting. So, yeah.
So someone that retired from a municipality, we always knew that our pay was not gonna be equal to the public sector, but we made concessions to have good benefits. So I think it all plays in together. So we refused pay increases to get better benefits. And that's the way it, because with a municipality, you can't give performance bonuses or anything like that. I don't think we can do that either, right?
No.
So, but I do think it needs to be looked at in its entirety. I think it was, not everybody gets a cost of living adjustment every year. It's not a guarantee, but I don't think this one is unreasonable for the staff. So.
And we would look at that at the HR committee, correct?
Maybe next year.
Or we could, or if everyone wanted to be a part of it, we could discuss it at a meeting.
You'd have to get the information first.
Yeah. And it is, and I think Teresa did it in the office, and I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, all the information.
The problem is some of them asked us not to share the information outside of the office.
Okay.
So that's part of the issue with the information gathered.
I was not told that, but it's all foible anyways. But, and historically, municipalities have really whittled down, especially their retirement plans. I mean, I've seen it at the county. It's gone, in the 20 years, it's gone to, a pension, a hybrid, where there was a defined contribution, a defined benefit, and then now it's all defined contribution with some matching. The county will fund 4% and match the first 4% that a new employee puts in. So an employee can get 12% of their pay by putting 4% in, and the county is putting 8% in on that. So that may give us a comparison of, what another municipality is doing. So, but would we want to talk about this at a meeting, or what would you guys want to do?
Does it make a difference at this point? I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be next year, right? But I mean, maybe it's something that, you just keep in mind. And
it probably would just be for future employees. I would think. I wouldn't be supportive of kind of changing something like that unless there were other extenuating circumstances
Nor would I.
on that. And it's the same with us too. I mean, we're on that too as well. So, okay.
I just think 15% is too high. It needs to go down to at least 10. Seems like the average of all the other communities.
So, okay, we have a motion and support. I'll ask for we could just do a straight vote. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so that passes. Next item is it's a standalone resolution appointing, for the township to appoint.
So we actually have to do additional duties. The
Oh.
FOIA coordinator was mentioned in there because we talked about it, but it kind of plays into the additional duties for Tanya and the pay increase that we discussed.
Okay.
But the actual happening of that will be next.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, if I understand the other two items correctly, it says, given all of our FOIA requests that are coming in, they've traditionally been handled by the clerk's department. You're basically saying you want to officially nominate Tanya
Correct.
as the FOIA coordinator, and you want to give her a $1 per hour raise in order to two, but you're also giving her additional duties.
Correct.
Yeah, so, and you're giving Teresa one. So you're giving, I'm guessing here, Tanya's getting a $1 an hour raise for FOIA coordinator, and she's getting a $1 an hour raise in order to accommodate these additional duties. Because there's a list of additional duties for both, for Tanya and for Carol. Is that right? So it's $2 for Tanya, because she's
And
got
Teresa.
additional duties, plus she's got FOIA coordinator, and then you've got $1 for Teresa because she's got additional duties. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay. I will make a motion to accept the HR committee recommendation to increase Tanya Davidson's pay by $2 per hour to compensate for FOIA coordinator and additional duties that were formerly done by the deputy assessor, who is retiring in September. And I will also make a motion to increase Teresa Murish's pay by $1 an hour to accommodate the additional duties that she is taking on that were formerly done by the deputy assessor, who is retiring in September.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. Any discussion or any thoughts?
I have some questions. So the resolution to appoint a FOIA coordinator, is that an administrative requirement by law?
Yes, it has to be done by law.
And obviously Tanya got really overworked this year with FOIAs, mostly with the data center. I think she should be compensated for that, no less. But on an average, what kind of FOIA requests do we get? Obviously, if we have a hot button issue, are they still coming in?
They still come in, but they're not as much as what they were. But we figured the $2 an hour would take on some that she has already done during the data center. Normally, there's not as many as what was during that time. What is the other one that they seem to be coming in? They haven't, yeah, all the rezoning now.
Rezonings? So this is just a question for myself as a trustee. Do we pay overtime at all for people that don't have enough time to get their work done?
She does, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is an overtime factor in there, right? Okay. And these duties were previously held by Carol?
No.
Not the
Not the
FOIA
FOIA.
coordinator.
Okay, besides the FOIA, right?
Yeah.
These duties were previously held by Carol, and she's gonna be retiring, right? And we hired the new deputy assessor to take Carol's spot at the same rate of pay.
But she's gonna be doing other things that Brent has lined up.
Yeah, some more accounting.
Yeah, and I don't wanna be insensitive that these things aren't important, but I want Amanda to do more, assessing and accounting things that Carol couldn't handle. Trying to be sensitive, but it's her skill set is different.
So do positions in the township have job descriptions or what duties are?
We're gonna start working on them.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda's does.
We are
Yeah,
gonna-
yeah,
we are gonna
yeah,
start
I
getting
already,
some?
yeah, I
Yeah.
did that one with hiring her.
So how are they done at this point? I mean, is it just, how are they decided?
Job duties or?
Who does what? I mean, who
Well,
decides it?
like the deputy treasurer is doing treasurer things.
Well, like historically, the reason Carol got put with so much of this stuff is like we didn't have the money for, to hire somebody else to do stuff. And so staff was the skeleton crew and stuff always came up. And so somebody had to take it. And this is all the stuff that Carol took on.
Okay, I mean, well, it makes sense to you if you want Amanda to do new things, but technically we hired someone to do Carol's job at the same rate of a 20-year employee.
Right, but she's going to be doing.
But now we're adding on another $3, just on top of that. So technically we hired someone for 29, right?
But they're doing, Amanda's doing deputy assessing work.
Well, now we know
specifically.
that, but
Whereas,
we didn't know that last month.
where I would agree with you. I think that having that clarity, I would say further makes me feel like I made the right decision to make the motion. The other thing that I would say is like when I initially sat on this board, 15 years ago, Carol was, receptionist, right? So she had that role. So there were more clerical type duties, and that's what she was doing. And if I know Carol pretty well, she never wanted to give up anything that she was doing. Is that a fair
That's
statement?
correct, and we don't have a receptionist anymore.
Okay.
No one wants to sit up front.
So, so I think we probably saved some finances by not hiring a receptionist, knowing that these things still do need to be done, and asking additional employees to take them on. I don't see an issue with the proposed increase.
And I think with Tanya doing the four-year coordinator,
Yeah.
I kind of liken it, she has to be trained for it, which she is, but any continuing education, any changes that the state makes, she's gonna have to stay on top of. And whether, in my opinion, whether she does one a week or 100, or none, it's kind of like a firefighter sitting in a fire hall.
Yeah.
If they go out and do no calls, which is a good thing, they need to have the training as if they're doing 100 calls. So
What we probably should do is make sure that the job descriptions are updated to include some of this more administrative things, I think. Because I do think the job descriptions, right, job
We had
duties, Tim,
discussed that in the last
yes.
that's
human
important.
resource was.
Right,
we're
we
gonna work
should
on those.
definitely have that.
And I agree wholeheartedly, and because I think as a township we're growing, we're obviously got to modernize. I mean, we even got new IT now, right? So, well, we're working on it. So I think with the job descriptions, which I think is a good direction to head in, and maybe some qualifications, like most municipalities when you go to hire somebody. I mean, I don't know what qualifications are required for a clerk or a deputy clerk, but
Well,
somebody should know.
the problem is for these elected positions,
Right.
there are no qualifications.
the qualifications are that you're a certain age, that you live
We're electeds now. We're not talking elected. We're not
Okay.
talking.
Well, you brought up Sue for qualifications.
Well,
You did.
so-
Clerk, because the problem is you choose your deputy treasurer, you choose your deputy clerk. If either one of you leave, we lost. I mean, I don't know, there could be a way that Tanya could stay if you decided to go. But we've just lost a valuable asset, right?
No, you won't lose her. Just stay.
I'm just saying.
We would
And I'm
have
just
to
using
hire
Tanya's
her
example.
as an employee is what we'd have to do to keep her.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe that's something we need to look at. Same with Teresa or Marnie or anybody else, right? I mean, well,
Marnie's different.
Marnie's different.
Marnie and
right?
Amanda are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are, something that happens.
And of course, if we lose a deputy supervisor, we're still keeping the same guy, so. So, we have a motion and support. Are we?
We have to do it by resolution.
Right.
Well, this
No,
this is
Or-
just
oh, just the raise?
Yes.
Okay.
And, I don't have my notes, but, the 2.8% increase, we had talked about how that would,
So the 2.8 will go on now, the $2 will go on after the 2.8.
So they're not getting a raise on the raise.
Okay, they're getting a raise at their current salary or current hourly rate,
And then what was it?
It'll be an addition.
and then the pay is on top of that. Okay, so are you okay with that, Matt, as being, okay, so.
That
any
makes
oth-
sense to me.
Pardon?
That makes sense to me.
Okay, good. Any other, discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that carries. So now we're at just the standalone, resolution, to appoint a Freedom of Information Act coordinator. And it would, we don't have a resolution number as of yet.
You got that person?
What's the next number?
563.
Okay. And then on here, yes, it does have Tanya's name on here.
So I will move to accept resolution 0626563, appointing Tanya Davidson as the FOIA coordinator.
Support.
Okay, any discussion? I think we've talked about it. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
No.
Roll call?
No, we need a roll call.
It's resolution.
Oh. All right, I'm still pretty new here.
That's all right, that's why I stopped you.
He's just,
I was on
he's,
meeting.
Yeah,
Rob,
okay.
he's just got your
You
back,
guys,
that's all.
I'm just gonna do everything roll call. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Wilson,
Yep.
Counts,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Fulton,
Yes.
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Spalding,
Yes. So that moves. The next item is we have actually 3 resolutions, or 4 resolutions, which do need a roll call vote, each of them. I'll have you say so. Do you guys want to address them just in the order that they were in here? So, this is just to kind of let everyone in the audience know, there's 4 resolutions for pay for elected officials. Which is kind of crazy that we get to decide whether we want more money or the less or the same, but, so, I don't know how you want to start this off. There's resolution for the supervisor pay, resolution for clerk, treasurer, and the trustees.
So, I mean, historically, we have discussed the first one, which always happens to be supervisor, so don't take it personally. And then whatever happens with that one, we don't have to, but we've historically followed with all of them being the same.
Okay.
And at least last year, there was no increase, and I don't remember if the year before that there was or wasn't.
There was the year before.
Was there?
There wasn't last year.
I know we discussed in the HR meeting on ours, and we weren't interested in an increase, but open it up to what the trustees have to say.
As a trustee, I would decline any increase.
I don't think we should increase it at all.
Jody, any thoughts on trustee?
I think that we've got pretty good pay between all of our other positions and the raise for cost of living that we just did.
No? That would.
Cost of living
Cost
didn't
of-
affect
Yeah,
anybody
it
up
does
here.
The cost of living
For
was
the
just on
board.
staff.
Yeah.
So the pay, and I didn't have the exact
Our
numbers
supervisor,
here.
clerk, treasurer, and trustee.
Yeah, Brent, what are those pays? I was too
Apparently
busy
not.
studying if we needed roll call votes tonight. Yeah, that was, yeah. I love you. Yeah. You want me to forward it to you?
Yeah.
38 grand.
The supervisor, treasurer, and clerk all make the same pay, and the trustees obviously make the same too, so.
All right, clerk, treasurer, supervisor, their salaries are $36,642 plus $80 per special meeting, also paid pension. Trustees are $6,107 plus an $80 per special meeting, plus pension.
6,087.
6,107 plus
107,
80
okay.
per special meeting. And the special meeting is that second meeting if it needs to be called.
I have a question for John. Do you ever do treasurer work here?
Yes?
Why is it that you get like an hourly wage for zoning administrator and utility director for 40 hours a week, but you still get your treasurer pay, but you don't subtract from the other pay?
Because it's the same as me and I don't have to be here.
You don't get extra pay though. It just seems like there's a lot of people in the office that he's making over twice as much money, and I know he's not doing twice as much work. So
I think that may beg a bigger question, but I don't think it's, we're not looking at that. I'm not discounting it, Bob.
No.
But, and we can always look at that, you know, like the retirement plans and that. What we're actually deciding is current pay for the current elected officials.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah,
I'm just
No,
grab my opportunity to voice my opinion. I mean, it just seems kind of wrong to get paid 40 hours a week for something you're not doing 40 hours a week. If he's not doing utility and zoning administrator 40 hours a week, why give him 40 hours worth of pay when he's doing his treasurer work? The other pay should be stopped while he's doing that.
Are the elected official positions full-time positions?
No.
No?
Okay.
Jonathan,
Thank you.
as a treasurer, your statutory duties require how many hours?
It boils down to 3 days a year.
3 days a year.
Mhm. Well, they even watered it
It's
down
the
even
same as
more.
his.
Yeah.
So 3 days a year, that's, whether you like it or not, and I particularly don't, but there is no requirement for supervisor, clerk, or treasurer to be here.
But just so you know, I'm here more than 3 days a year.
I know you are. But there's no requirement, right?
Correct.
There is no requirement to put the hours in.
But you have to do the job.
You have to do the job.
So I don't know how you could do it if you weren't ever here.
Right.
But
there is no saying that you need to be here 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, 20, you know,
No.
there isn't.
No.
There is certain statutory duties by position that you're required to do, but as an elected, that's your option.
Yeah, and we've always known, at least since I've been here, that given the nature of the township, it's more of it's more rural, right? It's a smaller township relative to others. You guys, some of the pay of this board is not nowhere near in comparison to the pay of some other boards in the area, and they do work quote unquote full-time positions, right?
I mean, there are townships that work less than us and get paid more. So I mean,
Yeah.
you just Mhm.
Okay, so what's now that we've deviated from that, let's go back to that.
We got the dollar.
Let's go back to
amount, so-
supervisor.
Yeah. So there's,
What do we want to do, supervisor?
there's somebody can move the resolution. Is this gonna be 564? Okay, so somebody can move the resolution, and insert the,
You're okay. I know we discussed it in the meeting, but you're okay with no pay increase.
I would probably do this job for free. Just kidding.
Decrease?
Yeah.
Saving.
I think voting on your,
Just like hanging out with us?
yeah.
Wow, we're good.
I don't see that or be at home. But I think it's kind of weird. I would never vote for a pay increase as long as I'm here. That's just me.
Make a motion to have no pay increases.
You need to include
Okay,
the
I think we need
resolution
to do
number.
each one separately. So
Yeah.
if you want to,
Okay, no pay increase for the supervisor.
You need to include the resolution number.
it's 564, and the pay would be 36,642 plus, yeah, that number.
You have to include that in your motion.
Well, then you make the motion, because I didn't remember it.
I will, we have to let it die first. He made the motion.
It wasn't, didn't.
Do you rescind your motion?
I'll rescind my motion, let somebody else make it.
I will make the motion to accept the resolution to establish the supervisor's salary, resolution number 0626564 for 36,642 annual salary as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and support. I think we've discussed this enough.
Yeah.
All those in favor,
Nope.
we do a
Resolution.
roll call vote. Please, Tanya.
Good
Sorry.
catch.
Fulton,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes?
Counts,
Yes.
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Spalding,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Okay, next motion.
Move to accept resolution 0626565 to establish the clerk's salary at 36,642 as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. I don't think we need any discussion unless anybody wants to. Seeing none, can we do a roll call vote?
Doss,
Yes.
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Spalding,
Yes.
Counts,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Fulton,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
All right,
Move to accept resolution 0626566 to establish the treasurer's salary at 36,642 as presented.
Support.
we have a motion and a support on resolution 0626566. All those in favor, can we do a roll call vote?
Spalding,
Yes.
Fulton,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Counts,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Okay, that passes.
Move to accept resolution 0626567 to establish the salary for trustee at 6,107 as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. I don't think we need any more discussion. Can we do a roll call vote?
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Fulton,
Yes.
Spalding,
Yes.
Counts,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
All right, that passes. Moving on, next item on our agenda is call to the public. Mr. Benella?
I know there's gonna be the discussion on the drainage and all, lot splitting. I would have spoken up, I was chomping at the bit to say something. So, Ken came out to meet with Jody and I about our property. So Ken basically, the drain commissioner, basically told us that the county is completely flat and there's no place for water to really go. The water that's flooding Jody's backyard is coming from Burkhart Road, from the assisted living place. So that's, what, a mile and a half, 2 miles through the woods. And so,
Mile.
anyway, that's something to take into consideration when we're thinking about how many houses to put on a lot. I think Tim's idea of 2.5 acres is probably fine, but I still think that's pushing it. But just based on what we found and what Ken, the drain commissioner, came up with, so there's no place for the water to go. And if it is, we can require a retention pond if there's going to be any kind of a development on every piece of property, because there's, and I don't know how that's going to be, just a mosquito-infested, township. So just keep that in mind. So I'm kind of hoping that we can minimize, as few houses as we can put in the township by law, if we're forced to do it. So that's all I got to say. And then we are, like Tim said, planning commission's going to be working on putting together, working on an ordinance and master plan. So hopefully we'll address all that stuff at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to our reports. Supervisor report, I just wanted to mention, we did have ZBA training last week. I thought it was very informative. I think it was a good decision to have Fahey do it because they were doing it from our ordinances. I thought that was a benefit. I passed out to everybody, the county planning is doing, they call them a lunch and learn series on June 24th from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and it's actually going to be the same people that did the where they, I think it's open to the public. They have, you just bring your lunch, and for an hour they talk about, they're going to be talking about updates to the Michigan Land Division Act. So if you go on the county planning, I have some extras here if somebody wants one. They have these periodically, maybe every quarter or something, just on hot topics and that. So I passed it out to everybody here, and I'm going to distribute it to the PC members and the ZBA members. And that's it for me. Treasurer, Jonathan?
Teresa has gotten approval from the county on her tax bills, so she's getting them off to the printer so that they can be in people's hands by the first part of July.
Okay. I'm sure people want to know if they can come up here early and get it, especially a little bit earlier.
We do have people that ask, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sue for clerk?
We've got the official call for elections from the county clerk. We need, actually election workers, if anybody's interested or knows anybody. We can use anybody we can get. We sent out permanent ballot applications this morning. They went out. So those are out in the mail. We'll be starting to get those back in.
Good. Zoning.
Reports are in there.
Okay. Assessing, Brent?
My report is in there, but I was thinking of one thing that's happened this month. We typically get, it can be from Zillow or Realtor, or a lot of these websites want our data and they want it for free. And traditionally there's an export within BSNA that you just run a report and email it to them. But I was thinking the amount of money we're put into BSNA Cloud every year now and the amount of work we do, and to just give it away seems counterintuitive. I was wondering what the board thought. Other municipalities just charge, they flat out charge. They charge between $300 and $1,000 a data dump. Is that, am I overreaching? Is that something, I mean, our software costs have tripled since we went from .NET to cloud. Is that, does the board have a flavor for that?
What's the dollar amount that you're proposing that we charge?
Well, I wanted to find out if that was, I mean, looking at our costs now, I mean, yeah, I would think anywhere from 500 to 1,000.
Just for like Zillow and Realtor.com and stuff
Yeah,
like
these
that.
big, yeah, they're, ICE Mortgage is the latest one that sent the request.
They're asking for data dumps of
all of our assessing data, yeah.
Can they get it any other way?
One by one.
Well, what they used to do is go to the county, but the county started to charge, so now they come down to the local.
So they're gonna get it regardless.
So you want
no, no, the county will charge them.
What does the county charge?
I don't know.
So you want to charge just a little more than the county?
Well, then they'll go
No,
back and get it at the county. If we
or a
want to cover
little
some of our
more,
costs, we
or
charge
less.
here less, so that we can recoup some of that BSNA.
I mean, we're not gonna be able to protect the data, they're gonna get it anyway, right? The information they want, they're gonna be able to get it. Whether it's through the county, they pay the county, or whatever.
Right, I mean, yeah, I have been giving it away since I've been doing this, but.
Sue, do people pay for election information? Like, like if
If
somebody...
they want labels ran,
Okay.
we will run them for them.
Yeah.
If they want to give us the labels, we run
It's
at a reduced.
It's fairly common for municipalities to charge for data extracts of that information. Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, even most, you go on BSNA and other municipalities, you can't even see the information without paying for it. You can get your own, but,
Right.
I mean, we don't charge for that either. That's cut down on the calls and the visits from appraisers, but they're just doing one-off things. This is the entire database.
Yeah, definitely look at putting something in place. In my
Okay,
opinion.
and then, yeah, I just wanted, if you guys say no, I'd rather not even do it, then Otherwise, yeah, I'll go and look at what we can charge, and then, you know, we'll have to put it on our fee schedule.
Well, we have a cost just with BSNA. There's a cost there for us to get that, have that
Oh,
data.
yeah,
So
that's why I said it's
somebody's asking
tripled.
for that data, I think it'd be appropriate to
It's
ask
tripled
for
with
them to
cloud, and
pay,
it's,
pay some of it, unless they wanna go in and they go in and each parcel and pull it out themselves, then
yeah,
they can do that
it's
work.
tedious, but they could.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's not what they're interested in doing. They'll gladly pay $300 to get it like that.
okay. So have Brent.
I
come
mean,
up with
are you
something.
guys okay with that? I mean,
Yeah.
If we're incurring costs for your time or for
well,
BSNA for this, then we should
it's,
be
it's more the
recouping that.
software cost. I
Yeah.
mean, because we're paying 3 times now, and it doesn't work like it used to.
If BSNA was free to us, I wouldn't wanna charge
Yeah,
anything,
no.
but it isn't, so, okay, so, all right. Is that it on assessing?
Yep,
Brent?
that's-
Okay.
I did have a question,
Yes.
Mr. Supervisor. Brent, the operating engineers, I don't know how much you can share on that. I did
So
read
we're
your
still
paragraph here.
preliminary, that we filed the answer and the affirmative defenses. We're waiting on the schedule from the MTT. The state may step into this one and help us, because it's kind of a landmark case. If they get their way, there will be every union shop and every technical school will be jumping on board with this, so.
Right now, the operating engineers is the only party.
Yeah, I'm saying if they get a victory, they're all gonna come.
Do we have any, do we know if the state's gonna, I mean, any
They're,
because it's gonna be costly, correct?
it most likely will, and this probably won't be litigated within a year. I expect to have them applied for next year too on the same docket.
Are we looking
number.
on like gun range type
Oh, no,
expenditure,
no,
nothing like that?
not like that, no, because we're not deposing.
Well, hopefully the state will help. As
Yeah,
we
I
get
think
there.
my gut tells me they will, because the amount of value
Okay.
here. I mean, just for our little township, it's over 250,000 in tax dollars to all the municipality, you know, to schools, fire, all of it. And Osceola is a lot more because they just built that $20 million building. So they have a lot more to lose than we do, but the state has a lot more to lose than anybody else.
And the Board of Review turned that down.
They did.
So they're paying as if it didn't change, correct?
Yeah, everything is status quo, and they've got, you know, it's filed in front of the tribunal. I mean, they're
Okay.
gonna fight it. They will pay, I'm sure, because they don't wanna incur interest, but then we would refund any,
If they were to win.
if they were to win, yep.
Okay.
Is it being held in any type of escrow, or is it?
As
is
far
it
as
even
their
active?
payment?
Yeah.
No, we go through the whole process, because we're gonna assume the amount of money is actually in the budget, it's chargebacks. So I've always tried to take care of that in case we don't win, you know, that's,
But it's, we go out to the entity, so we'd write them a letter, talk to them and say, hey, Howell Schools, you owe us $50,000, whatever
It
the
would be
amount
like-
is back, that they have to cut us
Like
a
a
check so that
clawback?
we, so then we
Yeah.
send it back.
Okay.
So for us, the township, it's probably a very small, I think you said 10 grand or something?
yeah, it's 12,000 between
12,000,
both
okay.
villages.
Okay.
It's substantial.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fire Authority, the report's in the packet, if there was any questions.
I did want to bring up, just because it was a big topic before on the radios and the communication towers and all that stuff with the county, has any action happened?
There was no conversation at the last meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a note to ask for an update on that.
I know they've got a lot going on, so maybe not now, but once things get settled, maybe.
Okay, yeah, the authority's gonna be looking for a new chief. There was a interim chief hired through the end of August. We're gonna be using a national firm, so that is moving along. Matt, MHOG.
For April, MHOG Water Authority produced 46.9 million gallons of water. That's an 11% increase year over year, with Friday, April the 17th being the peak at 3.8 million gallons. So the plant has a max capacity of about I think 5, and if they run an extra operator, 6. So this is April, and the peak day was 3.8, right? So the ability to, and I should say those maxes are based on the ability to distribute. So these cross-country mains that are going in will significantly help accommodate those higher demands that are coming in, either because of hot summers or because of more and more people moving into the area. On the cross-country main updates, the pylons for the soft ground near Cedar Lake Road, those are in, installation has started. I saw those were actually pretty cool. Overall, that stretch is still on track. The operational section, quite interesting. The part that is already in operation, we did have a water main break. And Greg thinks it was where 2 of the pipes were fused together and the coupling that was used to create that fusion. Good news, it's under warranty. So the contractor will come back out and fix it. But it was a pretty big break. I saw some pictures. It was like, holy smokes. So that'll get fixed, and I'm glad that happened while we were still under warranty. There is a roundabout coming. This is more informational. There's a roundabout coming for Golf Club and Eager Road in Osceola Township. So there will be some traffic adjustments there. It's on MOG schedule just because there's a water main relocation that has to happen because of that. But more, I thought, interesting for the community and for us to know we're getting another roundabout. Yay! Yeah, there might be another one coming. Heritage Square and outside storage. Sorry, my monitor just went. Heritage Square and outside storage are the 2 active developments we have in Howell Township with MHOG right now. Those are still on Greg's radar. They're pretty active, going through punch lists and things like that. And then Well House 1 and 2 had the new electric installed. If you remember correctly, we had to have some new electric put in place between those because it got severed as part of the cross-country main work that was going on.
Do we know when we're gonna start getting quarterly bills from MHOG? Is that gonna happen, or is it gonna still remain monthly?
Starts in January.
It's probably not the appropriate time, but it's gonna start in January on that. We really can't answer, but I think if you wanna talk with us at the end, we'll talk to you. But I think January will be the first quarter.
I keep saying that they send us things in the mail saying that it's been paid off and everything, and I know you guys have talked about it in the past. I just didn't know if aluminum was taking place.
Okay. But I don't want to be rude.
Okay.
Okay. The Tim, Planning Commission?
So our planning commission meeting was canceled last month. We did have a data center subcommittee meeting that we went through some concerns Paul had. I thought it was a pretty good meeting. Paul took it, and I think talking to Jonathan, they sent it to legal, and we're waiting for Carlisle Wharton now to give us another.
We still don't have it back from legal.
They don't, Carlisle Wharton doesn't have it back from legal yet, and it's been 3 weeks. Unfortunately, it's not moving as fast as we would like, but the reviews take time, so.
Well, we want to get it right.
Sure.
So, okay. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. ZBA, I don't think they've had a meeting, but there is one coming up next Tuesday for a building height variance. Wastewater treatment plant, the report is in the packet.
What's in there? Yeah.
But we still need to get approval for a new pump because they used one they had in their supplies, and we had one go down, so the ferric pump was replaced, and we need to get approval for $5,545 for Kennedy Industry to replace their pump.
Is that item 1.10?
Yes.
Yes.
And what pump was it?
The ferric pump.
Ferric pump. Oh, yeah.
Jonathan, what's a ferric pump?
We use ferric chloride in the treatment process, and it's really the only chemical that's added. And what it does is it helps the solids flock together.
Got it.
Yep.
So they drop out and.
Yep,
okay.
and that allows you to remove them from the water column.
I don't, so was that a motion? Did you do
I'll,
that or?
I'll make that, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Move approval, item 1.10 in the wastewater treatment plant from Kennedy Industries in the amount of $5,545 for ferric chloride pump.
Support?
All right, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so that passes. I did have one question on, are we gonna be doing any, land application this year from the plant?
So we do it every year.
Do it everywhere?
Yeah.
Where have we been, where have the biosolids been going? Do you know?
It's been a couple of years, because for the longest time it was actually being applied to township-owned property, because the farmers wanted it. The past 2 years, I don't think it has, and I don't know. Did Brent or
Going to
Sue, do you
John
guys
Mills.
remember?
John Mills is getting it.
John,
Oh,
okay.
he got Hamburg's. Yeah, he got some from Hamburg, not ours.
Okay.
He may have gotten it a year or so ago, I don't know, but this year he didn't. So I don't know where ours went.
But it really isn't up to us. It's, once it leaves the plant, it's with Synergy or?
Yeah, biotech, agronomics,
biotech.
yeah. I mean, the only thing that we changed a couple of years ago is that any farmer that wants biosolids that is farming township property, meaning the township owns it, will only be able to accept biosolids from our plant.
Okay.
So beyond that, we don't control where it goes.
Okay. Moving on, HARPA, there was a brief report. That was anything else that we needed to add to on that?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, and then, property committee, I don't think they've met, so.
Well, we did have somebody who's interested in the Marnoak Grove property. We are waiting on a purchase agreement, so we haven't received that yet.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, Parks and Rec committee,
So we are working with Phil from Spicer on developing an RFP for the site plan for the park property. Depending on how quickly we do that, kind of depends on how quickly the board sees it.
okay, we approved money for that, correct?
You haven't yet, because I don't have anything
It's a
from.
proposal, it's a proposal.
That's what we'll get.
Okay.
I've been talking to Phil, but I don't have any dollars from him yet.
Okay.
Zoom tag.
Okay, Shiawassee River Committee,
I got something to say about that. It
Yes.
seems like the township has quite a bit of money in the bank, so to speak. It just seems like the Shiawassee River keeps getting kicked down the curb. The one thing that we do know is there's only one solution to pollution, and it's dilution. And the only thing that the township could possibly do is remove the trees out of the river to get it flowing. It looks like pixie sticks have dropped all over the river. I just think that in the future, I think we need to start, maybe you can do something at the Drain Commission. How much would it cost per mile? But I think it's something the township needs to do and quit waiting for Eggle.
I can ask them down there. I know we had a conversation, and when I talked with Ken about the trees, what the trees will do is the PCBs are in the mud and the silt and everything, and removing the trees doesn't necessarily help that in any way. What it does is it allows the water to go down faster, and if it goes down faster, it doesn't accumulate. If it ever starts rising, then you're resaturating some of the riverbank and potentially drawing some of that back in. So that's a reason to do that. So I don't know, have you talked with him about any?
Mike had talked to him, this was a while ago now, about, Ken said he had some money that he could put towards maintenance. It was
Okay.
gonna have to be slow, cause he's got some issue downstream that he can't, just get it all done because I don't know, I don't remember what it was, if there's some sort of dam or some other structure. There was some reason why he couldn't just do it all, but he was gonna look at possibly doing, a certain amount of money each year to start. I believe he's gonna start at the north end and start kind of working back towards the south, if memory serves, and start removing the trees.
Okay. I will talk with him and then have something for next month. Now, if work is done, somebody's paid for that.
Talking about like the county pays somebody to do the maintenance.
If it's it would probably be the drain crew that would do it, but they have to get billed out. Somebody has to pay for it. So it's just not, and it would be I can't say for certain, but it would be the people that would benefit from that.
The entire township.
Well, Ken has a formula, right, that he calculates who is the people, who benefits and what your portion is on any work, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 25% us, 35% the roads, and then the rest is, but I'll get some more information.
It'd be nice to do like a mile a year or something like that, you know what I mean? Not all at once. Or, I mean, it'd be great if they could, but, because nobody's actually touching the water. They're in there with excavators, running pads and everything else.
No.
With your drain commissioner background, I have a liability concern if we disturb the sediments and stir them up and they go downstream to a different jurisdiction. Are we contaminating their property now?
And that'll be a question with Ken.
Because
there's an Eagle input on this too. As
Yeah, I
well.
was gonna say, wasn't that addressed in the Eagle report that we got? In the contamination report that we got?
I mean, they talked about the PCBs and the contamination. They didn't talk about the stuff going downstream, or, if you did something like this, what would happen? That wasn't.
I mean, it goes downstream anyway.
But at a much lower rate, and we're not creating it right now. If we start disturbing it, we are creating more. I mean, I'm sure there's a formula that they use, and there's probably they can clean out so much.
But then you get to a certain point where the trees are restricting the flow and backing it up in people's yards down Indian Camp Trail.
Maybe that's a formula that they use.
Okay. I'll talk with Ken, and maybe we can chat with him and that.
I think removing the trees was an attempt to prevent that from happening.
I mean, it's something that used to get done a long time ago, but now it's kind of getting ignored because it was contaminated, and, the trees haven't been removed out of that county drain, which is what it is.
What do you mean by that? It was something that got done a long time ago.
I live on a county drain. They come through every few years and remove the trees.
But
they do it all over the township.
Yeah,
all over the county.
they do that, maintain the drains. My question is do you mean that someone used to maintain the river, or do you mean that someone used to clean up the contamination in the river?
No, the Drain Commission used to clean the trees up out of the Shiawassee and treat it just as a normal county drain. But nobody's touched it in quite a few years, and I think it's because of the contamination. But it's generally their job. They do it. They used to. But they're still doing all the other drains. They're just not doing the Shiawassee River, the main branch.
I don't know when the last time the trees were removed from the Shiawassee.
Okay, well, I'll have that conversation with Ken and bring something back next month if that is good. Trustee reports. Any of the trustees would like to
I got one.
report it?
Anyway, here a while back, Covington accused me of threatening another board member. I've asked the township for records. There's none. Sheriff Murphy said there was no credible threat. I'd still like to know how the hell I allegedly threatened somebody, Mr. Bowl. If you could get that, that would be great. It was a made-up lie, by the way. So if you could come up with that proof, otherwise I'd like it removed out of your censure.
Okay, any other?
I do, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to recognize all the board members and the staff, Marnie and Teresa, for coming out for Township Cleanup Day on the 16th. and the work that they put into it, giving up their mornings. Brent, you were there too. I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry.
But I think that should be recognized.
Well, thanks. Can we keep that, put that in? Okay. Matt,
Nothing for me.
Jody, any comments or reports? All right. Moving on to disbursements, regular and check register.
Move to accept the disbursements as presented, any normal and customary payments for the month.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Last item, the most important one of the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Do we want to discuss it?
No. Do you?
No. I'm just thrilled that I'm cutting an hour off every meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.